Pozdrav ljudi, kako ste? Ja sam Aleksandar, kursor ambasador već 4 mjeseca i moja neka ideja jeste da pravimo ovakve evente u Srbiji za kursor sa ciljem da edukujem community, da omogućim ljudima da se okupe, malo se druže, upoznaju. Pravio sam u Novom Sadu već 3 eventa, bio je jedan event u Beogradu, isto kolega Goran je kursor ambasador za Beograd. Ja sam više za Novi Sad, ali generalno pravim evente i u Nišu, kao što vidite. Hvala Centrala Hubu isto što su nas hostovali danas i drago nam je da smo došli do Niša i da vas sve upoznam. Danas ćemo imati kratku prezentaciju vezano za AI generalno, malo za veštačku inteligenciju, da vam prenesem neka svoja iskustva korišćenja veštačke inteligencije u svom poslu. I onda ćemo imati malo neki primere šta kursor sve može da uradi, kako može da vam pomogne u vašem poslu, da bismo onda nakon predavanja imali sat vremena da se družimo, ima to neko piće i tako. Dobro. Da otvorim samo. Ovdje ako odete na sajt ima stranica za edukaciju, tu stavljam prezentacije, ima i ovaj kursor cheat sheet, dakle sajt je kursorserbia.com. Ako želite posle da vidite, imate i da se subscribe-ujete za neke naredne evente. Dakle, tema predavanja produktivnost sa veštačkom inteligencijom i kursorom. Prvo, koliko vas je u programiranju? Koliko vas programira? Dignite ruke. Okay. I just figured out that we have someone in the audience in English. So, is it okay for everyone if we speak in English?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, how many programmers, developers? Okay, most of you. How many designers? Couple of designers. And how many marketing people? Maybe a couple of marketing people. So most of you are actually developers, technical people, but we have a couple of folks that are marketers, designers. So I'm going to keep it a little bit more abstract. And of course, if you guys have any further questions, we can dive into specific topics. But I want to start by doing some retrospection about how artificial intelligence developed and how we adopted it in our day-to-day work. So before, when I was the first year at university, I would start programming. I didn't know a lot. So when I faced some problems, I had to seek for help, to find some information on the internet, right? And in programming, there was a platform called Stack Overflow, and everyone would go there, and other people who face the similar problems, they can help you, right? And then suddenly ChatGPT came, and it totally changed the way how we look for information, how we seek for help. We didn't need anymore to seek for help from people. We can ask this agent, this actually LLM, to help us answer, to help us find the solution, right? And then people starting chatting with this LLM, large language model, pasted code snippets into it, and this model would give them solutions for their problems, right? And this totally changed the way how we navigate the information across the internet as well. So nowadays, instead of Googling, we mostly do ChatGPT, right? And it's very good when summarizing some documents and also when explaining the code. And as this happens more and more, I put here the point that the knowledge is becoming less scarce. And what do I mean by this? Traditionally, you had this gated knowledge sharing. You know, big universities in America, they had this prestigious, programs and where people can actually gather this good quality knowledge. But nowadays, with AI, everyone have access to it. Some people from other continents can also access this good quality knowledge, right? Still, so now this ChatGPT, it can actually reason, it can help you answer the questions for you, find information, but it cannot actually directly do the actions for you. It's not autonomous enough. So you cannot just tell it, hey, can you book my plane ticket? Or can you schedule a meeting for me, right? It needs some actions so that it can execute the whole flow autonomously. And then we have companies like Cursor, Anthropic, and their Claude Code, and then Codex, and other similar platforms emerging. And what they're actually doing is they're providing these LLMs who can reason the ability to act, to actually execute stuff. So now you can give your autonomous agent a task and it can, from 0 to 1, execute it. Cursor recently launched this Cursor Automations, which we will see in a bit. And it's fully it's like running in the cloud, and you can configure it how you want so that it can automate some tasks for you. So now let's check the Cursor interface, just to have a better understanding of what we're talking about. This is it, right? So on the left side, I open the project, which is, so these are all the files that I have in my project. And this project is actually the website that you saw earlier. So this community website here. And in the middle side, you have the code, the actual code, and you can edit it, do some programming there. And then Cursor added this chat interface to the right, which allows you to actually do something similar like with ChatGPT, to chat with it, right? And then you have these different modes. You have Ask mode, which is read-only mode. So this agent, it cannot change your code, but it can answer you some questions. Then you have Agent mode, which can perform actions. You have Plan mode, that is good for if you have some complex problem that you plan to tackle. You should first go to this Plan mode. It will create a plan, and then you switch to the Agent mode for execution, right? And then Debug mode for finding some issues with your code. Then you can have different chats here. Open a new chat and you can do many chats simultaneously, and these chats can run in parallel. So you can solve multiple issues at once, right? You can see your chat history here. And then, so this is the interface for people who are more into coding. But if you're a designer or marketer, then Cursor introduced this agent view. And this agent view, it doesn't care much about the files, right? It focuses more on the, and let's say if you're a designer, so this is one example here, which we will see in a bit, but it focuses on this chat interface and your past chats. So you can, just by prompting the agent, you can achieve some things here in the design. Okay, so this is your local interface. You can do some configuration. You can do some configuration here under settings. And where is this? Let me check. Okay, I'm already there. So here you can configure some things such as you can see your plan, you can see the agent, some agent options. You can here restrict how agent will ask for permissions. So one important thing is, while this autonomy is good, it brings some security drawbacks with it. So if you let your agent do whatever, it can mess with your operating system, do some bad things. So you as a user, you can restrict it. Then you have different models. There's these various LLM models that are trained for achieving slightly different things. And depending on your use case, you might want to choose different models. Then you have something called cloud agents. And this is a very interesting feature because it allows you to code from your phone. You just need to access the URL and you can ask agent to do something. It runs autonomously and then submits a change request to your code base. And very interesting feature here is that you can see this example where I asked agent to track my Luma calendar for upcoming events. It implemented the improvement and then recorded a demo. So this is all recorded by agent, not myself. The agent is controlling the browser, and it came back to me with the improvement and the recording of this improvement. So I can judge based on the UI, not only the code, right? So yeah, couple of more options, which we will see later. Let's continue here. Any questions so far? Should I maybe explain something further here? Okay. So now that we saw this tool, why should we use it? Why should we build stuff with Cursor? Well, we usually use Cursor to build different products, and we build products to solve specific problems. Then if you solve this problem for many people, you can potentially sell to these people and make some money. And nowadays we have this paradigm of selling your product, your functionality to agents instead. So many people started using agents in their work through the chat interface. So companies figure out that they can sell the functionality through this agentic interface instead of UI. And in order to wrap your product and sell it to the agent, there is something called plugin. Cursor has a marketplace where you can list plugin for your project, and this plugin is essentially a set of functionalities that these agents can understand and use. You can define skill, which is like a piece of text explaining how the agent can use your functionality, your product functionality. And these MCPs, they achieve something similar to skills, so they also wrap the functionality of your product. And as I mentioned, we can see this paradigm shift where instead of learning some complex interfaces such as Photoshop or Figma, you can just prompt agent, explain what you want to achieve, and it will help you achieve, right? So I put here the design example, Cursor plus this pencil.dev extension. And then there is for video editing, Remotion, which allows you to edit video by generating code. And then you have, so I'm personally, for programmers, you know what's GitHub, so version control system, and there's a bunch of commands that traditionally you had to remember, and the way how it works. Now I just prompt my agent and it does it for me. The presentation that you're looking is also generated with Cursor, right? So let's briefly check these examples. This is this pencil.dev that I just mentioned, and we can see that here that this is the generated design of my website, and the agent fully did this. So now let's try to achieve the same using Figma plugin. So Figma created this plugin so that my agent can help me design, right? Let's try to do that. So there is this skill, Figma skill for designing, actually creating design system, right? We can ask agent always, if we're not sure, how does this skill work? In ask mode, it explains us what is the skill, how it works. Then we can ask it to create let's create a design system for our website. For our project. And you can choose different models. I chose the latest model from Cursor. If you're not sure what to choose, you can always choose automatic routing or premium router. And let's see how it creates this system. So this design system will be just another rule. So I mentioned skills, right? Skills are something that can help your agent execute specific tasks, and then you have the rules. So the rules are used to restrict the agent actions, so that agent need to follow your guidance to be better performing, right? So we just created this design system rule. And now when we implement design, the agent will follow this rule. So let's just say it. Let's implement design in Figma now. And while it's doing this, it will call this, now I need to approve it because that's how I don't let it just run without my permission. And it's asking me for right, so we ran this tool for generating design in Figma. And you can see agent open the browser, it's inspecting my website and it's trying to design it in Figma, right? Yeah.
Is this designing in Figma directly or it's designing in HTML?
So it's designing in Figma. So the Figma has this plugin.
Is this connected with MCP server?
Yes, yes. So let me show you this. So if we go to cursor settings, we go to tools and MCPs, you can see that I have this Figma plugin, and it actually contains a lot of these tools here that my agent is leveraging, right? And
it is designing in Figma directly. And does it use the functionalities like auto layout variables or responsive design, etc.? Can it use that?
yes, yes. Let me see what it did. So not this one. Let me see what I have in my Figma. Right, so it looks somewhat similar, and then you can further like interact, basically tell it to change certain things. Google just released a couple of days ago their tool for designing. It works the similar way, so you can check it out later as well maybe. But there's this, more and more teams are trying to do this agentic designing. Another thing I wanted to show is on some of the past events. So on the website, you can also see some of the past events that happened. And I did interview some people. Today I also interview a couple of you, but you can check here. This video is generated by AI. So I did all of this, labels popping up here, and some transitions. There's also a voiceover. So I generated all of this with Cursor and this Remotion tool. And I explained what I want to achieve with these labels, and then this Remotion arranged this content pieces, generated the video, right? And then another example would be this. I built a project and I created this marketing campaign, right? Which also has these popovers. I gave it a couple of images and then it bundled everything together. And I had like marketing video in half an hour with some tweaks. And traditionally you would pay for something like this a couple of $100 or whatever. Might not be the perfect, but keep in mind that I'm not a marketing guy, I'm not a designer. I'm not a video editor, so I just did this by not knowing the tools.
Sorry, Alexander.
Yeah.
Which tool did you connect with Cursor for this video?
It's called the Remotion.
Okay, thank you.
On the
LLM?
so I haven't dug deep into that, but essentially it's a React-based application, and then the Cursor creates this React code. And then from that, the video is rendered. So they have a way to render a video from that, right? Okay. I want to show you this as well. So also if you go to education, you have this Cursor cheat sheet that I put. This is maybe useful. This is made by another ambassador. And it's like everything that you might want to know together. Different modes, different models with their cost and context. Some explains how to create rule for agent, privacy mode, cursor ignore. So cursor ignore can be useful for storing some secrets because this restricts agent to accessing this file. The agent cannot access this file, right? You have something called sub-agents, which are spawned by the main agent with their own context. For a specific task, you can spawn the sub-agent. So basically, there's a lot of these things now. There's a lot of hype as well. So everyone's talking about AI. But then, in essence, it's not that complex. You just need to figure out what's needed for your use case, and don't overcomplicate things. Let's move on here. So the next thing is, if you want to be more performant, to write better code, to create better design, video editing, you need still to understand a little bit how the systems work. And you have this cheat sheet that I just showed for some shortcuts and tips. You can use some frameworks like this agent, creating this agents file that can help agent orient through your code base. Then you can set some workflows, skills, rules. You can leverage this model routers if you're not super proficient. But there's a bunch of things that can help you improve your quality of your outputs, right? And then moving forward. So these are some closing thoughts that I have. And I really think that we will see this battle between the cost and efficiency of the results that our agents produced. So if it's too expensive, we might just want to use some scripts or some deterministic code. Maybe we don't need an LLM at all. Security, as the more code is being produced, we need to make sure that the code is reliable, that we can scale the product, that there is no security vulnerabilities. There's something called software as a service, and there are big companies that are selling their services for a lot of money. And now actually with AI, you can quickly build in-house solutions. So I think there's going to be some shift in this industry as well. Once we figure out how to handle proprietary data, how to extract proprietary data from these big companies, maybe we can build our own SaaS, right? And then human identity and purpose. This is a little bit philosophical topic, but imagine that these AIs are better and better and they can do autonomously work for us. How do we find our purpose, right? We usually identify as people who do some work. If you're a designer, marketer, you bring different values to the society. Now, how do you position in this new world where a lot of things are automated, right? And now some time for questions. Yep.
You mentioned skills.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit more about that?
Yes. So how I think about skill is, so these LLMs, they're mostly like generalized models trained on various data sets. Mm-hmm. And they're these generalists, so they know a lot. You can ask it whatever topic. But then you have these skills that are specific to certain functionalities or products. So if you're building your product, you ideally want to build a skill around it that will guide agent how to leverage your product, right? So it's like you plug it in agent and give him ability to do certain thing, right? Let's say you have a skill for scheduling some tasks, or you have a skill for Figma. you know, as we saw, like how can our agent create design? And this skill has a set of guidelines that actually help it navigate through the Figma functionality.
It's like a prompt or a tool.
So the skill will be part of the prompt. When you prompt an agent, then what's actually sent to the LLM, it's your prompt, some hidden system prompts from Cursor, depending on the mode you selected, skills, rules, some other external data that you added. So all of this is bundled and sent to the agent, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how to use Cursor more smart, like how to spend less tokens to do something that we want? Do you have any tips and suggestions how to do it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, how can we use Cursor smarter, spending less and achieving more? That was the question. So first thing I would say, depending on your task, choose a model you want to use. There are some models that are more expensive, some models are less expensive, and maybe worse performant. But there's also this plan mode. So if you're solving some complex problem, use plan mode with some better performing agent. And when you have a clear, robust plan, then you can switch to cheaper model that will execute this plan. Then some other things that I actually have in my project is there is this agents file, and this file tell my, so the first thing that agent does when I prompt him, it looks at this agent's file, and it can navigate through my repo by reading this. So it knows what skills it should follow. So it says here, read relevant docs specs before editing code. So before it makes any changes, it's going to read docs and specs. This will guide him to have better results, right? Then I define these rules here under cursor./rules. So I have a couple of rules here. And then one more rule, for example, would be after it makes changes, then it edits my documentation specification. So I finish the whole flow, right? And then again, on the topic of cost, so the cost is measured by the amount of tokens that are being used in the execution. And the tokens are these small pieces of text that agent, so it's like atomic piece that agents are digesting, right? And it's even, usually it can be one word, or it can even be half of the word. You know, these are tokens. So the context is all the tokens that are passed to agent. So if you want to make it cost less, you should reduce the context size. And we can see here we have a chat with the agent, and if we constantly iterate in one chat, it's going to be more and more expensive because the context is growing. So at some point, what you want to do is you want to switch to a fresh chat, right? If you reach, and Cursor also has this functionality to show you the context, the percentage of the maximum context for your chat. So if this percentage reaches like 60%, you might want to switch to new chat, right? Then these sub-agents that we mentioned, the sub-agents can, they're spawned with a fresh context. So for specific tasks, you can leverage sub-agents, then they get back to the main one with the result. Now people are experimenting with a swarm of agents working together and orchestrating them. So there's a bunch of things. But yeah, I would say that the main things are define these good skills and rules to guide agent, and then use the least context that you can. Right.
Cool. And can you tell us more about models and which one is good to use for what? I heard
Yeah.
that Cursor released their own model now. They don't want to rely on Claude anymore. They have their own. So can you tell us what is it better than Claude? Is it worse? Is it cheaper?
Yeah. So the question was how to pick model. What model is better? What model should we use? Well, the answer to that, I'm not very experienced with that, so that I can really talk about that topic. But my opinion is so you can use Cursor Composer because it's like Cursor native model and it's a little bit cheaper. These models, like there's different benchmarks, you know, from like there's some benchmarks that test how well model performs on specific tasks. So you can search about it and find how specific agents performed on specific benchmarks. But yeah, if you're not like, if you don't need that much of, you know, of granularity in the execution, I think you're fine by just using Opus or Composer or these more popular models, right? You can even build your own and train it for specific tasks. Yeah.
Can you like connect other models to Cursor, like Chinese ones, Kimi or
Yes.
whatever?
Yeah, so there is this, I haven't done it, but there is this add model feature. So I guess you can add different models, right? I think so. Add custom model, yeah. There is actually Kimi here and others, but you can add your own.
Does Cursor have any type of like a long-term memory or anything like that? Or does it always have to like read agent7d file and other stuff before it works on the project?
That's a good question. So the question was, does Cursor have some long-term memory?
Yeah.
So learning about your code base,
Yeah,
basically, right? Yeah, I'm not super familiar with this. Probably, I assume yes. We can search it later, but I haven't really leveraged that yet. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. So first of all, this agents10d and those rules that you have,
Yep.
did you create it manually or with agent?
Yeah, so another friend of mine, he built like a scaffold project for that. So he has a skill that I pasted in my agent, and it helped my agent create the architecture. You know, these couple of these skills based on the description of my product, based on the specification, it generated this architecture that I'm using. So I didn't do it fully manually. You have this scaffold project that help you, that can bootstrap your agentic framework, right?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of material in open source.
Yeah, thanks. And what about multiple agents at the same time? Is it possible here?
Yes, it's totally possible. So every chat is a new agent, and it can run in parallel. And then also in cloud agents, you can spawn as many as you want. So yeah.
Okay. And here, this is open the cursor settings about custom models, right?
Okay.
And I don't see here, maybe I'm missing somewhere. Can I add a light LLM provider and like with a proxy model that I'm hosting or something like that? Like here I can only choose all the possible options, but
Yeah.
can I actually add my provider with
Yeah.
maybe API keys down there?
I can't answer that. Not sure. So the question was if you can add your own provider. Maybe did someone try it here? in the audience.
Yeah, I use it, but not in Cursor, so that's what I'm asking.
Did you try it in Cursor?
Technically, we did use custom models. It's available through AWS Bedrock, basically enabling it. You can use custom models, but I didn't create my own. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. So they used through Amazon, through AWS, they used custom model.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look.
But take a look. I think it should be possible.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, right? If it's working on your local code base, should be
Yeah,
feasible.
I mean, a lot of other plugins like Klein or Kilocode have that option, so probably
Yeah.
there is some here. Thanks.
You mentioned that Cursor can handle version control. Can you go in a little bit more detail?
Yes. Okay. So let's see here. We have here some changes to agent file and to do and like some small changes basically. So now I'm just gonna tell Cursor, create a new PR, create a new push. Let's push changes to a new branch and create a PR to main. And write a good description of the changes. So I'm leveraging this right, it's doing the work, it's executing GitHub commands, and it's done. And now it's creating pull request. And it's using this GitHub MCP, right? So, and it gave me the link to the PR. So I can just open it. Here, you can see the PR, so the design system. And now you can see here that also what I did is I have this automation feature. So I set up Cursor automation here, and I told it when the new PR is opened, review this PR. So this is my prompt. If you find any issues, create a comment on the PR. And I'm leveraging Opus model for that. So this is like my custom review
Separate agent.
like, yeah, so my automation that I created, and it can be like you can create a prompt that you want. And yeah, it's simple as that. So the good thing is you can automate many of these tasks. Don't think about the merge problems. Now this GitHub MCP is smart enough so that, and with in the combination with agent, it can do the merge. Probably you should still check, but then rebase the code, push, create a PR. It works pretty well for me.
Does this exist on for GitHub? What about other platforms?
I think most of the platforms have it now. If they don't have official ones, someone created,
Okay.
And settings we can check it here in my MCP tools. I have this GitHub MCP and also this one. I think this is from the extension that I have as well. So I have a couple of them. But yeah. Yep.
Just to mention on the GitHub, the first function that's available is the one that he was asking about. That you can comment on a review that's still open if you find something. But that wasn't my question.
Okay.
My question is regarding the agents. How much can they do? What can they do on a machine that is outside of Cursor itself? Maybe an example is the video that you showed us that the agent shot. Was that done through a Cursor agent? How much can it ask for? How much permission can it get to interact with our system? With our machines outside of Cursor?
So you can give it full permission, and agents are pretty good at using command line interface, right?
Okay.
They can use your terminal very well. They know how to do it. So if you give it full permission, it can do a bunch of things for you. and it's just a matter of security. So, but there are these many companies focus on these sandbox solutions where you can run your agent in a isolated sandbox. You just let it do whatever. But yeah, there's some interesting experiments, and then even like Cursor team, I think they built like a whole full browser solution with and agents was running for like 7 days in a row, something like that. And they implemented like 2 million lines of code browser. So it's very feasible to do different things. Now, the matter of good quality that's a separate topic, right? But yeah. Yep.
Again, you mentioned the future a bit earlier. And,
Yeah.
What do you think about? I'm constantly thinking. If we come to the point where we can actually just generate use case tests, and it's only important to us to review that, and then the code gonna be generated by AI and reviewed by AI, and eventually at some point I'm not gonna look at the code at all,
Yeah.
and I don't care about that, because currently there is a high topic about whether code is good or bad generated by AI, but eventually I'm not gonna look at it anytime
Yeah.
in the future.
And I think that's already happening. So the question was, in the future, will we actually look at the code, or are we just gonna trust the agent and then check the tests? If tests fail,
Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean,
And-
in general, I only care that it works. I don't
Yeah,
care about the code.
yeah. So obviously, these things are gonna be better and better as they evolve, and people are focusing also on these review agents. So you can have, so what people are doing is, you have many agents with different contexts checking the same code, right? So you have a little bit of entropy there. So from various angles, different models even, so various models with various contexts are checking the same code. So this gives you like a little bit more robust review. Yeah.
But technically, like we do care about the code because we read it. But if
Yeah.
we don't read it anymore, then we don't care whether it's shitty, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
future.
yeah. Yeah, valid
We're
point.
never gonna look at it.
I don't know that, but
It's interesting thought.
yeah, interesting thought, definitely. But I think we're gonna look at it less and less, you know, depending on also on the problem you're solving, right? If you're building some non-critical software for your personal use case, you're not gonna look at the code. But if you're building a rocket engine, you might want to look at it. So we'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions? Couple of more.
I saw you had one extension for Obsidian.
Yeah.
How do you use it? What's your experience with that?
Yeah. So I don't really use it nowadays. I wanted to use it for like writing some blog posts, you know, to like writing some content. But I also found some Obsidian extension. So Obsidian has its own extensions as well, right? So what I'm actually leveraging is I'm trying to create this mind map of my notes, and I'm using this. I don't think it's actually the AI. It's just some search patterns that actually connect different nodes and link them together. So that's what I'm using for Obsidian to like link my nodes and create this graph.
I was thinking about because Obsidian is written with MD files
Mhm.
and agents also use MDs and all that. Is there like a strategy that you could maybe use or apply to combine those two, or to like navigate agents to get more concise, or have like better prompts or something like that?
Oh, I see what you mean. So if you can actually leverage Obsidian as like some sort of knowledge layer
Yeah.
with MD files that can guide your agent. And yeah, that's an interesting thought. I'm not doing that, but it might be interesting project. I know that, so some people are looking at, you know, this graph databases, because these graphs, Obsidian as well, like it has this graph structure, but the graphs, they give you a nice semantic about the connection between the different information. And if you combine this graph structure with LLM